Ladies and gentlemen, can we please welcome on the show, without further ado, Mr. Alex Simchuk. Alex, are you there?
Alex,
here, guys. Good morning.
Reporting for duty. Hey, guys, let's give a little.
Got my coffee?
Let's go.
Taking down the devils. Taking down the devils corporation. Taking down the devils corporation. You got to hear that. The community needs it.
Alex, break
That's
it down.
the best reception I've ever gotten.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
In-house. Look. Ellen doesn't have the in-house applause. Nobody has it anymore. Colbert. Who? Colbert who?
Right.
The Drip. We give you the reception that you deserve.
Awesome.
COVID safe. It's COVID safe, by the way. A lot of these guys.
Absolutely, for sure.
I hear a crowd. I say, who's else? Who's making this noise? No, we got a COVID safe crowd here. Beautiful.
So, Alex, break down for people who don't know sort of what you exposed, because you kind of did this. How long ago did you put out this documentary?
$20.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah. So so full context. I worked for these whatever we want to call them, cults, because they're not really businesses. They'll call themselves that, but they're not. For about 15 months, about 6 years ago. And film came out in April of 2018. So it's been almost 3 years since the film came out.
And what has the reception been like? Because basically, you called them in your video. You're like, this business, if you call it that, is essentially a cult. It's not a business. Yep. They're brainwashing people. What was the reception? I mean, I know a guy who got involved in this, so maybe we'll get into that in a bit. But they get their hooks deep in you.
Yeah. Overwhelmingly, the reception has been positive. I've gotten a lot of feedback from former owners, former leaders, former admins who actually want to share their story. And that, because of that, there's a web series that has formulated from the film, and we can talk about that too. But overwhelmingly, it's been positive. People that agree with pretty much everything that's been that was said in the film, everything that's been put in there. And what's really interesting is the title of the film, The Slave Circle, is a play on the company name Smart Circle, which is one of these corporations. But they're not the only one. There are other ones. There's Credico, there's Sidcor, there's Abco, there's Cobra Group.
They copy.
And they all operate kind of the same, similar way, not exactly the same, but similar.
Yeah. And
what has been happening since the film came out is I'm getting a lot of feedback from people who have worked for Sidcor, for Credico, for Abco, for these other companies, and they're able to recognize the similarities, even though it's not exactly the same, but they're able to recognize the similarities and say, wow, that is literally what I went through. So most of the response has been positive. I have definitely gotten some negative feedback. It's usually been in the form of either trolls trying to silence me or people in the comment.
When you say silence you, what do you mean? I mean, are they showing up in black masks? Are they trying to sell you, some kind of filtration system? What are they doing to you?
No. If I'm a little more critical of Scientology, that might happen. But I think mainly it's just these private Facebook profiles that message myself and message the people that follow the Slave Circle page, and they'll say something along the lines of, this is a formal request. Please cease your negative comments about Smart Circle. This is an official cease and desist, which I don't know about anybody out there. I've never seen an official cease and desist through a Facebook Messenger. So
I've never seen it either.
Yeah. But Alex, question, like, what are you not getting people like a Patrick Bet David fan, let's say, who believes, like, because, I'm watching a lot of the stuff. I'm like, this is like sales, like when I worked at Home Depot, they were like, come on, you got to bleed orange. You got to bleed orange for Home Depot. Like, everyone has their,
which is creepy, by the way.
It is creepy. Yeah. But that sounds like, some of it sounds like corporate training. Now, one of the moves that you said they did is when you're approaching someone, if it's a woman, reach for the boobs.
Yeah, dude, I mean, technically don't reach for the boobs, but yeah, basically.
But can you what is that about? You threw that in there, and I felt like you should have landed on that a little harder. That's strange, deeply strange.
So the whole thing about the pitch, and this goes with whether you are selling stuff this usually happens at a Sam's Club, Costco, Meijer, Kroger, any of those big box stores. But this also goes this goes far beyond that. This you're getting people going door to door, selling things like AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, business to business. Sometimes people just standing out in a crowded section of a city trying to get you to donate money to a charity, which that is not where that money goes. So it's all of this. All of this is the same thing. But everything in every single one of these pitches is planned. It's psychologically primed to affect the customer in some way. So the thing that you're talking about is in a big box store, a Sam's Club or Costco. One of the things we want to do is we want to get product in hand. So if I'm standing in front of my booth and I have a product and I want my hopefully future customer to touch it, so they can touch it, they can hold it, they can feel it, and it feels like they have an ownership quality to it, I want them to grab it. So one of the ways you do that is by reaching for a more sensitive area. So if the person who is approaching me is a female, I'm going to hold that more toward her chest, because let's face it, what female wants to have something shoved right toward her chest area? And if it's a guy, I'm not going to aim there because there's really nothing sensitive up here. I'm going to aim more down towards the torso and a little bit lower to get them to grab that product. So
Alex,
everything is planned.
Alex, do you have a webinar? Because I think you could teach a class. I think we've covered some people. They teach classes like this. I can't believe I haven't seen this move yet.
No,
I don't, but I could definitely break down the deception, because it's all wild. Deception.
This is innovation. I mean, you go, I'm going to reach for the dick to get the sale. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is, though. Honestly,
that's a good motivational.
I hate to be crass about it, but it's like, hey, you see this light bulb? I don't know why there's a light bulb on my desk. It's the only thing I have on my desk is a light bulb. Take it.
Your motivational sales speech is going to be called "Reach for the Dick." Like, what are you doing? You want to make the sale? Some of y'all, you say you want the sale, but you're not reaching for the dick. You say you want it. I'm watching the footage. Why don't you reach for the dick? God damn, you're not getting his attention. Like, that's a sales. I'm telling you, you got a webinar.
You could sell out a stadium, but Alex has ethics, and that's why we brought you on the show. I mean, obviously we're joking, but Alex, so I mean, tell me in chat, guys. 1 in chat if you've seen it, 2 in chat if you have not. Have you seen this type of salesman on the floor? I mean, I feel like it does happen all in these Costco's and stuff like that where they set up. And they're just kind of selling you bogus product, whatever bogus product is hawked. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they're legitimate products? Do you think they're always saying they're wholesale, they're cheap? Do you believe that?
Yeah. Some of the products are decent. It really just depends on what it is. So like one of the products that I sold a lot were these hot and cold reusable muscle packs, where they have a little disc inside. I'm trying to look around my office, see if I have one. I have a whole case of demos that I took from an office because they were just going to throw them out, but they were still perfectly good. But they're you just click them and then they heat up, and they end up getting as hard as a rock, and they're really not worth the money. But
so people are saying, I see that like 75% of people, they have seen this. I feel like most people have.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you about my friend, okay? Because I had a friend get into this, and that's why when I saw your video, I resonated with it. Good friend of mine, smart guy, by the way. So again, it's not about being stupid, you fall for these things. It's just they prey on desperation. So he went to, do you know Emory University, Amish? It's like a nice Ivy League. It's like a good school. Anyway, he went, but he got one of these like kind of, I don't know. Maybe he's watching, so I don't want to say. It was a degree that like kind of is not, you can't immediately get a job necessarily with that degree. Let's just put it that way. So he was looking for a job afterwards. He didn't know what job to get. One of these companies like chased him really hard. They go, hey, we want you. And in a job market where nobody is like chasing you, that can be attractive. So he gets this job and he goes, oh, Steven, I got this incredible job. I said, well, what do you do? Explain to me how it works. He goes, well, I'm on a comp plan. I said, oh no, dude, no.
A Trump University, like a degree.
Yeah, like I'm on a special comp plan. I go, okay, tell me more. He goes, well, we've got these exciting bamboo pillows. I said, I said, what? I thought we figured out pillows a long time ago, Amish. She goes, no, you've never slept on a pillow this good.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm wanting to support my friend. I buy one of these stupid things. He goes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We lost Amish, by the way. Did we lose Amish? Yeah, we lost him. This is Amish's face when his internet goes out. It's just...
It's not a bad picture. We could keep it like that, honestly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
There he is.
You're back.
I heard all of that.
Okay.
I heard all of that. Oh, God.
You heard us talking about
It's like I heard that. No, I heard the whole story. Dude, it's like my buddy got Asuna vitamin pills. He bought 19 boxes of pills of like vitamins. And then everywhere we go, he goes, come on, guys, you don't care about me. You don't care about the community. Buy some pills.
No, and I did. Okay, so, but then I was confused before I saw your documentary because I thought it was a legitimate business. And he ended up quitting. And he told me about these morning meetings that were super weird where like everyone was jumping up and down and hyping each other up. And I thought to myself, well, this is strange. Like, what company does this to their employees? But okay, whatever. It's kind of a little weird. But then what got me, Alex, was the pillow. Was so bad. I tried so hard to make this pillow work because I wanted to support my friend. I didn't want to believe that he was involved in a scam.
Really sold you.
Oh, well, it's more like I wanted to, I believe in my friend. So it's like, I believe in him, so I'm going to use the product. I'm going to support his dream. So I'm like sleeping on this thing, and let me tell you about it. A normal pillow, you need like, I'm not going to get into the ergonomics of sleeping for you, but you need a certain clearance from the bed, but too much, and it's like uncomfortable, right? Your head's like this, right? This pillow was like this big, like huge, gigantic, and it had no give to it. So it's like hard as a rock. So my head is like this every night for years now. Me trying to make this pillow work. Years until my wife finally said, give it up. It doesn't work. The pillow sucks. And I said,
good brainwash.
No, I was, again, I'm committed. I was committed. And
Man,
so
that's great.
And
that you tell people that
finally
story.
I gave it up. I still have it in my house. It's like something is against me of throwing it away. But after seeing your documentary, I said, oh, it's a scam.
Yeah. Yeah, we sold the bamboo pillows. That was one of the products that we sold.
You had them?
I hate those things. Let me be very clear. I'm very uncomfortable. And they try to tell you like, yeah, feather, you're going to get cancer. It's like,
years of my life.
They'll say anything to get the sale.
Anything to get the sale. That's the whole goal. And if something goes wrong or if you're not satisfied with it after the fact, it doesn't matter. As long as they make the sale, that's the goal. Overall worth it.
But what I'm getting from your documentary is that it's not about the products. No. It's about the system. And it's actually, the victims are not the customers. The real victims are the employees, actually, which is interesting. Because they're buying into this dream. Now, one of the things that I thought was fascinating as just a psychological tactic and just kind of a dirty little tactic was actually the way, and we'll get to the big super chats right now, so we'll get to those in a second, was actually the way that these guys, they interviewed you and they made it seem like you were not the only interviewee. I found that fascinating. Explain that to people. Yeah. So they contact you on LinkedIn. They say, we want to interview you. You show up to the interview. What happens?
Yeah. So you can, these offices have presences everywhere. So it could be through LinkedIn, through Indeed, through any of these job websites. It could be for something you haven't even applied for, and they just contact you. And they'll say, usually the first round interview or the setting up the interview is very vague. They'll talk about how they're an event marketing company. They'll probably never use the word sales. So it's very helpful to ask, is this a sales position? And they may still try to skirt around that and say, well, we do conduct sales at our events, but that's a part of the whole marketing thing. It's all sales, it's all what it is. So first round interview, you usually just go into the office, and it's very short. If they like you, pretty much no hard questions, no critical thought, nothing like that, then you'll probably advance to the second round interview, which takes place in the field, as they call it. So that could be in the Costco, in the Sam's Club. If it's door to door or business to business, they might take you on an observation day, so you can just kind of see like how you would be spending your day. But yeah, and then they they kind of show you what you're going to be doing. They talk first about how direct marketing is so much more, according to them, effective than indirect marketing. They use the example of, if you see a commercial for a product, you usually don't want to go out and buy that product. Well, we are already in the stores where people are in that buying mindset, where we're handing them the product, they get to touch it, they get to feel it, they can see themselves owning it, and it's much more effective. They usually say it's like 90% more effective.
That's
whatever.
Wow.
And
I'm sold.
No. I disagree. I'm way more likely to be convinced by an ad than I am by some idiot in the store being like, "Take it now."
What if he reaches at your crotch?
For sure.
Maybe he does it the crotch, dude. You're buying it.
No, and I mean your cost to run that is so much more expensive, which is why most people just do ads on TV.
Who thought of doing this? It sounds like the worst get rich quick. It sounds like so much work to actually ever make money.
Well, for the people at the top, they don't do any work anymore. They just kind of control things. But another thing that they talk about to kind of justify why the direct marketing works so well is they'll say, well, if you've got a shelf of product at a store, it could sit there all day and maybe sell two items every day, and that's nothing. But when we get people in the store and we can hand people the product and we can tell them about how good it is and actually get them excited about it, then we're dropping $1,000, $1,500 a day. The stores get a cut of the money, so they're happy, the customers are happy, and it's just better all around.
Right. Did they ever hit a point in the training where they go, hey, the actual job is to brainwash a bunch of little idiots? You brainwash 5, 15, 20-year-olds, and they will pay for this much for the rest of their lives. Like, did they ever come out and say, like, the business model that we told you was selling this product, but actually, hey, we just need to brainwash a bunch of kids? Like, do they say it, or do they always have this, like, cheery language in front of it?
Oh, it's all cheery language. I mean, when you break it down, it's definitely implied because the word sales is like a dirty word in this business, or at least it was when I was there. Like, you never say the word sales. You don't say buy or sell. You don't say any of that stuff. And
it's actually like a sin. I mean, and you do how many like hail marketings when you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that is great.
Yeah, and for anyone who's ever researched pyramid schemes, you know that the emphasis is not on the selling of the product, it's on recruiting. The more people you recruit and the longer the base of that pyramid gets, the better you do, supposedly. And that's really what happens here is the goal is, you want to sell, but when you sell, you can interview people, and then if they take the job, then they're on your team. And once your team expands to a certain degree, then you get promoted up the ladder. And it's a very subtle form of even though it's not technically legally a pyramid scheme, it has all of the makings of one. Yeah,
and MLMs are technically not pyramid schemes by the Federal Trade Commission's definition, but of course we all know that they actually are. How big is this industry? I mean, is it like $1 million? Is it 2, 5, 10, 100?
I mean, that depends on who you ask. When you get into this business, you will hear about the big names that supposedly make millions upon millions of dollars a year, which I mean, I have no doubts that a couple of them do. The people that started this industry, like in the early 80s, I'm sure by now are raking in a lot of money. The people that are the individual office owners in all these little supposedly independently owned offices throughout the country and throughout the world, they're probably barely making 5 figures a year, are living with 4 or 5 other people just to make ends meet.
It seems like comedy to me. It's almost like now it's Amazon FDA or FBA.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think this is going to last. I mean, brick and mortar is not going to last. So now you look at that Kevin David guy. I think he comes in on the skateboard. Steven, I think you did a video about him, but he basically just comes in with like, see this cheap piece of shit? It made me $1 million, and you can make $1 million. Just drop ship it over here, then you sell it to them, and he's essentially selling you. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but you're just selling bullshit little trinkets and nonsense for a really high markup.
And the real problem here is, I mean, the film really focuses on the selling of the products in the store, because that was really the only frame of reference that I had when I put it together. But as I got into it, and as more and more people contacted me after the film came out to want to share their story, I learned more about the technological aspect of it. And any major tech company So Sprint, which is now, of course, T-Mobile, AT&T, Comcast, DirecTV is a huge one, Verizon. All of these companies have contracts with these third-party sellers, Sidcor, Smart Circle, Credico. And because of those contracts, these companies have to have people pretty much in every single Sam's Club and Costco in the nation. So it's not just selling a product. You go in there and they'll be like, hey, who's your television provider? Or hey, let me ask you, who's your cell phone provider?
Oh.
That's what we're talking about.
You know what you guys are, or not you anymore because you're out of the business, but y'all were the people doing this. I don't know how else to say it. Brain's not working today.
The Devil's Corporation.
The Devil's Corporation. They're the real life incarnation of a pop-up ad. That's what I just realized. Boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, reach for the crotch, too. Because even the pop-up ad kind of reaches for the crotch sometimes. It just kind of gets, you know what I mean? It's like it goes to these base level things.
It's real life. It's live infomercials, essentially, is what it is. And if you've ever stayed up till 3 in the morning,
but what I don't like though is they prey on the people's politeness to not be like, "Hey, douchebag, get out of my way. I want to go shop." They know no one's gonna say that, so then it's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna take advantage of you and like your niceness." You know what I'm going to start doing? Well, the thing is, though, is if you're rude, now you're the mean guy because it's like, well, it's not that person's fault. Everyone has a job. But it's your job to make my life worse. So why am I the bad guy for then saying, no, get out of my way?
But you will be trained for that. You will be told, you're going to encounter rude customers all day. You're going to encounter people that don't want to hear from you. And, they talk about, well, you're going to talk to 100 people in a couple hours and 90% of them are going to tell you no. It's those 10 people that you really want to focus on. That's why you talk to every single person you encounter, every single person on the street, every house on the block. You knock on their door. So you have to wade through the no's to find the yeses. It's all this indoctrination.
But
tell
the
you
thing
exactly
is, though,
what you're going to get.
The truth is, I'm not being rude. You're being rude. You're interrupting me in the middle of my shopping session. I did not come to hear a lecture from some 20-something-year-old on the benefits of the bamboo pillow.
Right.
Yeah, but you haven't been trained. They have a ninjutsu down because they even probably test out. You guys do act outs? You guys ever train act outs with each other? Because I know they do that in sales. So they'll be like, okay, I'm going to be the customer. You do
for
role
sure.
play.
Yeah,
and then they have like objective handling stuff.
In those morning meetings that we are required to go to, especially if we work the morning shift. It's very structured where we'll go through a period of time where we do practice pitching, and the owners will tell you, mimic conditions that you'll find in the store. So mimic the hard customers, try to anticipate the no's, anticipate the overturn the negatives, as they call it. Yeah, we do that all the time. Yeah.
But isn't a lot of like actually becoming sort of enlightened with sales like that? Is that realizing that you can't fix a hard no?
Yeah, well, they have this lingo. So much of what I've said already today is just slang and jargon from the business itself.
Sure.
And if you go to the Devil Corp website, which we can talk about also, you can see some of this, but they have a saying called 2 no's and a go. So you approach somebody and it might be,
I like it.
they might say, no, I'm not interested. So you go at them again. And if they give you a second no, then you just move on to somebody else. Okay. You really, you definitely learn some sales techniques from this. But
that's a motto for life. 2 no's and a go.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
But one of but one of the things I've noticed too is that people who have any sort of serious sales experience who end up applying for this, they usually won't take the job because they're able to realize how scammy this stuff is, because it's not real marketing. They call it marketing, but it's not. It's just direct sales, but it's really like shady sales practices. And that's why everything is scripted, So like, I know if you sell anything, you're going to have a script. Like if you work at a car dealer, you're going to have a script. If you're a real estate agent, you have a script, but you're really not, you don't turn away from questions. If your potential clients have questions, you want to answer those questions. You don't want to redirect their energies to something else.
And that's them. They're like Tai Chi. Like they're like, hey, why is this so expensive?
Yeah, and they use politeness. Their politeness is part of that Tai Chi. That's why you'll always look rude. If you're like, hey, can you just get out of my way and say, sorry, ma'am, I'm doing my job.
We're just approaching you, right? Yeah, we're just coming up and showing you. We're only here for a limited time,
No, we
don't want anyone.
Hey, I've got a revolutionary idea. This should be a jailable offense. In real life, I have enough pop-up ads as it is. If you pop-up ad on my life, jail forever. You go right to jail.
Too many people believe, and that's why, you know, earlier you were saying it's all trolls, but I feel like the Patrick Bet David crowd, they believe in this. They think, hey, do it, good training. You'll learn, you'll get out of your shell, you'll toughen up.
Yeah, no, it's not all trolls. Like if you were to go to the Slave Circle video, the film, or any of the interviews too, any of them, and go through the comment section, you'll find people that you can tell are in this thing. They're invested, and they believe more than the second coming of Christ that what they're in is legitimate, and they are going to make millions out of this. And this is the best training program ever, and that we're all failures. You know, I've been called a loser. I've been called a failure. I've been called, you know,
God is great.
Any of these things. So, yeah, I mean, you can tell who's sold their soul to this. In another year or two, will they feel the same way? I highly doubt it. They'll probably be jobless, but you know, I'll be
brother, if they still see God, they will be still. Yeah, it is like such a brainwash, right? They're like really into it, and they believe in this system like it's God or whatever.
Yep. What was that beautiful chant you were doing in the middle, Amish? That was wonderful.
Words of God. I love that, dude. I love that. They believe so much.
Yes.
And you know what? They have these little sayings. They'll even do it does become spiritual. I feel like sales. That's why I love these Patrick Bet David videos. But we're like, but you're selling an MLM, dude. In his video, though, and this kind of relates to yours, he was talking about noni juice and how it has this 40% markup. My family bought noni juice, 40% markup. And then he goes, one day Costco realized they come in, $10 noni juice, out of business. They're done. Right? Yeah. Who's selling noni juice? Costco selling noni juice. That's it. Why isn't Costco just doing this shit? Why don't they just jump in? Because it's not profitable without the brainwash?
Well, they probably would have, they would have to stock the man hours, basically. And how Costco, and I don't work for Costco, I don't know how their pay rate is structured, but these companies, these Smart Circle, Credico, Sidcore companies, they're very good at skirting labor laws just for how everything is set up. So like we're kind of employed from the company, but we're like independent contractors in a way. So that's why a lot of these people who sell DirecTV and Verizon and door-to-door stuff like that, they'll make less than minimum wage. They'll work 80 hours a week and make $100, you know?
Yeah, and then they sell you on the idea. That's why the dream is really important to the whole job, is because the dream is the reason you tolerate the terrible man hours and no pay. But you're right, like they keep their margins low actually by paying their people nothing. I mean, that's like or essentially nothing. How much money did you make when you were working for the devil?
I at least pulled down minimum wage because I was in the stores.
Wow.
I want to say
maybe to start with minimum wage, at least minimum wage. We're not going crazy.
I think I was, which is a big deal for some of these people in this organization.
Yeah.
I think I might have pulled down maybe 24K as a leader. But
this is who you are when you're pulling minimum wage.
A year?
Yeah. But here's the thing, and you talked about the dream, right? Because one of the things that is mentioned is, well, when you're in the field, when you're a team leader, you're not going to make a lot of money. You know, when you get to owner, that's when you make the six figures and everything falls into play. Well, that sounds good, and that keeps people in. But since this came out, I've talked to multiple owners, and a lot of these people are on my YouTube channel as well, who said, yeah, you make less as an owner than you do when you're in the field, because now they expect, and I mean the regional consultants and the national consultants, they expect you to spend half of your day in the office doing interviews for your office. Then the other half of the day, recruiting. The other half of the day, you go to the store and you sell stuff, and anything you sell in that amount of time, that's the money you take home. So basically you are taking home money from 4 hours of work. And everything else your company makes, you invest it back into your company. So you pay yourself field pay, which in the case of one of these people I interviewed was about $15,000 a year as an owner. As an owner. You know what they say? They say, hey, the money's not in the junk. The money's in the losers. Get the losers.
An owner,
the losers sell the junk.
But as an owner, you are a loser. $15,000 is nothing.
Yeah.
I thought it was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, you got to recruit. No,
that's what they say.
It's so broke-ass. That's what made me so sad about the whole thing. It's all the hard work. But with our fake gurus, they show you a little lavish. They show you a little bit of like, okay, I got a jet though.
Little Zynga.
I got a Lamborghini though.
And they try to do that. They try to do that.
Little zip zap.
Yeah, well, what they do is they do these quarterly leadership conferences. They usually do them in Dallas, Texas, but they move them around too. And if you're a top leader, you'll get flown out and you'll spend a whole weekend being indoctrinated. You'll talk to these leaders. 3 all-you-can-eat meals a day. Your travel is paid for. Your room is paid for. So it gives this impression that somebody's making money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they might fly in to your office, one of these national consultants, somebody that's been in it for a few years, and they have this mansion and they have these boats and they have these cars. Supposedly the president of Smart Circle supposedly lived next to Kobe Bryant for a long time in this mansion.
God is great. And God is great.
So they do offer that. They bring in these people that supposedly have made millions of dollars, and they have you network with these people and pick their brains. And well, what did you do? How did you do this? One guy, his first name was Mike. He was a big time national consultant when I was in the business. He had this mansion in Massachusetts. He was like the president of the roadshow division, and
this is who everyone worships. To be clear,
yeah, exactly.
This is who their example is for. You can be just like this guy, people. And you make nothing.
Yeah,
but
but
if
supposedly
you can overcome your lack and limitation, you can have abundance.
I remember, I networked with him, and one of the things he said was, well, if you get home at the end of the day and your feet don't hurt and you're still able to walk, then you're not doing it right. And at the time, I thought, wow, that's fucking amazing.
Wait,
David, though.
Wait,
you got to work.
Stop.
Yeah.
Put the work in.
If your feet, hey, guys, let me say something. Your feet are, if you can walk, you're doing something wrong. I think this guy might, dude, no, this guy, that's the wrong mentality. This is the Gary Vee mentality. It's if you sleep an hour a night, you're doing it wrong. What are you doing?
It's the reach for a dick mentality. This is the reach for the dick mentality. It's a life philosophy. Reach for the dick, dude. Who's reaching for the dick? Someone who gets tired at the end of the day? No, keep walking.
Guys, one thing I want to tell you at home. There's a point that hustle makes sense, but also you can get obsessed in hustle culture to where you choose the hard path in life. If you're trying to become six-figure earner doing this, you're in the hardest path of life. Go get a regular job, dude. But they look down on jobs, and that's the whole irony. They go, 9 to 5s for losers, for slaves.
Yep. Yeah. And
we're different.
And one of the things, everything we could talk all day, of all the time you guys have, we could talk about psychological manipulation because that's all it is. Yeah. But they'll tell you exactly right. This opportunity, because they don't call it a job, it's an opportunity. This opportunity isn't for everyone, and they'll say, if it's not for you, that's okay. It's not for everyone, but they're looking down on you for sure.
Opportunity,
someone who can reach. Someone who can reach
to scam. That's what they're doing. It's an opportunity to scam and be scammed. That's the thing. You can scam and get scammed at the same time. It's great. It's an innovation.
Yep. And like you said, they'll look down on
greedy people get scammed.
They'll look down on the 9 to 5 guys. They'll say, I'm better than a 9 to 5. Who wants to work a 9 to 5?
You're making minimum wage, Doc.
Yep.
Hey,
Kevin O'Leary just put out a video. Saying like a salary is like a price for your dreams.
Yeah.
It's like, who are these idiots? Listen.
Kevin O'Leary, he's doing cameos now. It's so sad.
Let me just tell you, if you go chase your dream, you're probably going to make a lot less money than if you had just sucked it up and worked for the boss, dude.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, a lot of these people like selling you the dream, they're bigger devils than the bosses that supposedly are enslaving you or whatever.
Yeah. And you don't have to look at it like abundance is in the business. You can look at it like abundance is in your life if you just look at it the right way. You don't need $1 million.
Dude,
you just need to hang out with your son. That's it. That's where all the happiness is.
Exactly. This is what I did a fake career on this guy. He was he was running some kind of a scheme where he's selling trading tools. But what was shocking about it is he was a successful business owner who was sick of basically working that way. So he threw away his business. He threw away his wife. He threw away everything so he could become an Instagram influencer. And it's like, hey, dummy, you were making like
Oh
six
my God.
figures doing that. You threw it away for this dream that you had in your head. Now he's not
Who is
making
it?
six figures. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a life.
Who is this? Who is it? Is they famous Instagrammer?
No, he's like this. Gosh, I gotta
Oh,
find
they're
this
not
guy.
even famous.
No, they're not
Oh,
even
if it was-
famous. It's the funny thing.
Well,
No,
Bilzerian's
he
going
got in
down
trouble.
like
He got in trouble because he told his mom he couldn't pay her back.
Right. Oh yeah, this guy.
The guy who he got the Subway. So to give clarity, this guy bought a bunch of Subway shops with his mom's retirement money.
Oh god.
Then later, she sued him because he didn't put it in her name, and he was like abandoning the business. So they go, well, you got to pay this lady out. She sues him. She wins in court, and he goes, I don't have the money. While he's posting pictures with Lamborghinis, that he's got the influencer lifestyle, whatever. But it's the same thing you said. I mean, it's like, dude, if this guy had just taken gratefulness from his life, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
If you want to make a Subway work, the margins are thin, dude. You got to be like immigrant hard shit, dude. An immigrant family makes one Subway run. That's what I've seen. We're talking about you got to be there full time, and your husband has to be into it full time.
And pretty much every person I've talked to who's left this organization they've told me to some degree they stayed in it as long as they did, because you are programmed in this operation to fear failure. And if you're not in Smart Circle, Sidcore, Credico, there's no other good option out there. There's no opportunity out there. Yet when you get out of this, doing practically anything else,
Is the best
you're making
opportunity.
more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, because you got good training, because they train you good.
Yeah, or something like that, where you go back to school and you get an education and you're able to get a pipeline that way. I mean, I work in the education industry. That's my career, and I make more money. I make more than double a year than I made any time at any point in Smart Circle, and probably more than 3 or 4 times had I made if I was an owner, because you end up making less.
That's your limiting mindset, Alex.
That's your limiting mindset.
I'm seeing a very limiting mindset here.
Mindset. I've heard this sales pitch though, where people are like, if you can sell this, you'll sell anything.
Yeah.
This, it's impossible to sell it. So if you can sell it, hey, what do you think? Real estate, it'll be nothing. People have tried to convince me to sell like oil and gas, like even like your gas, the monthly thing, because you guys did that too, right? You did those like packages, like a phone line or whatever.
Yeah, Smart. I don't know if Smart Circle does that, but I know Sidcore and Credico do. So you'll get people knocking on your door asking you. This is a big red flag. If someone ever knocks on your door, if you're in a state, because I know the laws are different, but if you're in a state with a deregulated gas or electrical industry, and someone knocks on your door and says, "Hi, we're with the clean energy company. Let me see your electrical bill. Let me see your gas bill."
Clean.
Please don't give them that bill, because that has an awful lot of personal information on there. And these people will do anything for the sale. So as soon as they get that information, they have your account number, they might have your social, they have your last name, they will enroll you. Some people have told me this. They will enroll people even though they didn't tell them to.
That's
they will
hot.
do anything for the sale.
Yeah, the anything.
Yep.
Dude.
That's bad.
If you can reach for the dick, you can get a sale. And that's the philosophy of life that these people are teaching, basically. Yeah. And the whole method you're talking about, the teaching program, it's exactly the same as the vow, I think. Because the vow was another one where he was started an MLM. And then he said, you know what? The money's in the losers. And he just said, get rid of the product, all full 100%. Sorry to call them losers. I mean, they're nice people, but my God, what they did for him. They're just like, I got to pay for my classes. I got to get my blue sash. Sorry, it's $10,000 for next
The
week's
ridiculous little titles and stuff, the in group lingo is so funny to me. Oh, you're not a purple diamond yet? Oh, you're not making 6 figures. What are you not? What are you not? A toothless unicorn? Oh my gosh. Are you kidding, Amish? You got to work. Got to put in that work, boss babe.
He was telling these women, like, get naked pictures of her, and then this girl would tell the other girl, like,
okay, Amish, you got to provide context. You're talking about The Vow, right?
The Vow
on HBO. It's a documentary,
and it's about Nexium. He had all these people from Hollywood locked in the cult, but then he started playing them against each other. Where this girl would, I remember she's calling another girl saying, like, "Come on, Karen, I need to get my purple belt. What are you doing? Oh, my purple sash. I need to get my purple sash. Send me pictures.
You can't quit on me, Karen.
What are you doing? Like, you're screwing me right now with Keith." Like, they loved him, and they were like, we got to move up the ladder.
Yeah.
And it is like a brainwashing system. He was in MLM, and then he switched over to this. So where's the earliest days of this Devil Corp? When did the Devil Corp get its philosophy? Because they were
from what I know, and I'll tell you, there is a website Devil Corp is a website, and I have no affiliation. Yep, that's it right there. I have no affiliation with this website. I honestly, and
Producers
nobody
on it
does.
today. Okay.
This devil's hot, dude.
Nobody knows who the author is of this website. They have done an
Oh.
excellent job of staying secret.
Ah.
But for anyone who ever does research into these companies, that is usually the first resource. They usually find Devil Corp before they find me, which is fine because that's how I started my research, was through Devil Corp.
Wow.
But this person goes into an awful lot of detail. So if any of you listening to this is really interested in this, I encourage you, go to that website. You will learn a hell of a lot about this. But there's a company tracing it back to the late 70s, early 80s called DS Max. Direct Sales Max is basically what it is.
Oh yeah.
And from DS Max came what we know today as Smart Circle, Credico, Sidcor, Appco, Cobra Group, Innovage,
Direct
Grant
Sales
Marketing.
Max. It's like Direct Sales Maximum.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah. So that's where all of this comes from.
Wow,
Yes,
that's so interesting, man.
Innovator
You've done
in
an
the game.
incredible job of
So good.
spreading light on this subject. And, dude, I mean, we really appreciate you out here because the truth is, man, when there's this fight against scammers has been going on forever, and there's so many variations on it. It's infinite, and you can't keep up with all of it. I can't go in and, discover. No. It's too much work, too much research. Yeah. Nobody has time in the day to cover it all. So I feel like it's a network of people who are helping.
Oh, for sure.
It's you. Yeah. It's people like Kit Boga on the call center scams. I mean, it's people like Spencer Cornelia. I try to do it myself. I mean,
the community.
The thing is guys, we got to come together, and you got to help your friends. I always say, friends don't let friends get scammed. I've never believed more in it than I do today, because hearing your story, I'm realizing, had I seen your doc, I would have been able to save my friend from this and myself from so many sleepless nights.
Dude, that pillow. I can't believe you took the pillow so long.
Alex, thank you for shedding light on this situation.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, it is impossible to keep up with everything. One of the reasons is because these companies change their names constantly. Yeah. So like the parent companies, Smart Circle, Credicore, they stay the same, but like this and this marketing, this and this events, the small office in this city and this city and this city, they constantly change their names. So if someone were to try to come up with a comprehensive list, it would be impossible, because you'd have to take away and add as you go. But yeah, I'm grateful that I've gotten a lot of support too. I know there's a website called Devil Corp Review. He's doing some good work. Juicy Rhino. For those of you that are on Instagram, check out Juicy Rhino.
Explain the juice part real quick, because your documentary, the thumbnail is juice, and at first I was confused.
Juice is one of the chants in the business, in the cult. It stands for "Join Us in Creating Excitement," which is basically a chant.
Source.
Yeah, it's basically a chant where there's so many different ways it can be used. So usually an owner will be giving their morning spiel, and they're looking for a response. So they ask it in a question format, juice. The crowd responds, juice. So it's a call and response.
Right.
If you had a really good day, if you sold
Home Depot, though, by the way,
if you sold thousands of dollars worth of stuff, you had a really juicy day. If you're going to a town where you sold a lot before, it's a juicy area, or it's a juicy club, a juicy store.
I've done that in restaurants too, where restaurants be like, "Oh my God, Amish, you're the wow of the week. You upsold 19 guac taco upsell guacajolis."
Juice. Juicy Rhino is this Instagram page. I've gotten to know the guy who runs it, and he started it out as being it's just a bunch of memes, and he started it out as a way to kind of get people who are in the business to follow him. So originally they were like memes that you could relate to, that were kind of supportive of the companies, but then he started getting critical. And now they're just hilarious, because he's gotten, like me, when the film came out, I got a lot of people come forward who said, yeah, that's exactly what I experienced, and he's gotten a lot of the same stuff too. But he and all these other people are helping shed light on this, which is, I think, important, because when you think MLMs, you think Herbalife, you think Mary Kay, all these Avon, you don't. a lot of people have never heard of. What the hell is Smart Circle? What
You don't
is
know about
what is
the dev.
Sidcore?
Yeah, you don't know
Yeah.
about Devil Corp. This is Juicy
No, no,
Rhino,
but the
by the way.
dev.
Give him a quick shout out. Go follow him. When
Love
you
it.
spend years you're working your ass off only to end up thousands of dollars in debt and have your office shut down, but they offer you the opportunity to move to another city and retrain under someone who's been under the business for half as long as you have.
Oh my God, yes.
That's a
That's
Devil Corp. That's a Devil Corp
hilarious.
rip. That's great. That's
I
great.
didn't hear no bell. All right, Alex.
All right, man. Alex.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
man.
you guys.
We
Perfect timing. I'm
support
out
you.
of coffee. Thank
We
you.
support you. Thank you for coming on The Drip.
Thank
For
you.
the community. Whole community.
Guys,
Whole community. Love
big up for Alex.